Hey, everybody. Thank you for hopping on the Tuesday workshop with us. Today, we do have a guest speaker with us, Jim. Jim is one of the co-author of the books Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors and the Best Known Roofer, and co-founder of the Roofer Marketers, the digital marketing agency for the roofing industry. Jim is also part of the founding leadership team at the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance. Jim, thank you for hopping on the call with us today. I know I gave a brief introduction about you, but do you mind giving me a little more history about you, where you're from, a little bit of history of how you got into this industry, by the way?
Yeah, Warren, I was a little slow in school, so I didn't know what I wanted to do. And then like the early 2000s, the dot-com bubble started hitting, and I found this degree called Management of Information Systems. It was half computer science, half business administration. And we're moving out of the dot-com bubble. And I'm like, how could I go wrong with that, right? And then, so I graduated with a degree in that. I was doing server-side programming in college and out of college, and learned it didn't take me long to learn that I'm not a programmer. I don't like capital letters. I don't like semicolons. My hatred for semicolons, Oren, may surpass a lot of things in life. And so I went in other directions, and I got into the real estate industry, and along the way, real estate and mortgage industry. And along the way, everyone's like, hey, you know how to build those website things, right? And so that's what I started doing. So I started doing it for the businesses that I worked in and the businesses that I own. I started doing SEO when when we would just write the keywords. We would just keyword stuff in the same color as the background of the page. That's how I started in SEO.
Yeah.
But then years later, I got into some things on the Warrior Forum. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yep. I do remember that.
So, I learned SEO building, learned SEO building niche websites, and putting Google AdSense on them, and made a business out of that. And then Panda and Penguin and all those hit, and those things went away. And I learned Google Ads. In my mortgage business, I would run Google Ads to realtor partner websites, and then we would share in those leads. So I ran Google Ads for real estate agents. I learned Facebook ads, selling T-shirts and sweatshirts on Facebook. Sold thousands of T-shirts on Facebook back in the day when you could just hit, I want to put this ad in front of Derek Jeter fans. And it was a T-shirt about Derek Jeter's retirement, right? Like, it was wonderful, wonderful times. And then all that got tightened up. Ended up doing pay-per-lead for contractors, and then met my business partner, Brian Niebler, and we formed Roofer Marketers, which became one of the larger digital marketing agencies in the roofing space. And then that got acquired by a company called Job Nimbus, which is the largest CRM in the space, so now Roofer Marketers is now called Job Nimbus Marketing. During that time, we built a platform similar to OPM Tools that we used for our clients internally. We became, in the high-level community, a gold SaaSpreneur and all of those types of things. So I speak at high-level events. I'm also a coach in the seven-figure agency, helping agencies, owners build their business and achieve seven figures. And what else, Oren? I do a lot of stuff.
Sounds like you got everything in it. Anything digital. It sounds like you've been in it and you conquered it. It sounds like almost. That's awesome.
I'm on the other side too. I'm a partner in a roofing company, a pressure washing company. I've been on that side of things also. So I see it from a lot of different angles, not just as a marketer, right? I'm on the side of building marketing for companies that I own also. And that's really what I want to talk to people about today is, I think what gets missed in this space a lot is there's so many tools out there that you can use, right? There's so many software tools out there. There's OPM tools. You have, all of these things, you get into even like the HubSpots and Salesforce and all Zoho and all these crazy CRMs, or you get more niche specific and you get into softwares that can do a very specific thing. estimate, for our roofing company, we use a specific estimating software and different stuff. And everyone wants to learn the software, but I think that there's a strategy that gets missed in the planning in the execution of putting together your software properly for your customer journey. And so I've gotten over the years really obsessed with the customer experience or the customer journey. And that's really what I was, kind of wanting to talk to you guys about today and share my thoughts on and see if we can spark some insights and things that you could do to improve everything that you guys do on a day-to-day basis.
That's awesome. Perfect.
Hey, Jim, we in the industry hear that term all the time, but can you what do you mean by customer journey?
All right.
Great question.
Just in time. Let me share my screen.
Hold on, was that the segue?
And did we plan this, Jeff? Man,
yes, maybe
like we planned that. So the customer journey. This is it. The simplest way to look at a customer journey is through the 5 customer stages. Right. First customer stage is awareness. It's how they are getting to know that you exist, and kind of start to build that level of trust without having a conversation with you, right? Then we move on to the interest and consideration stage, right? That's maybe, for our roofing business, that's when someone picks up the phone or they submit a form on our website. Maybe they, do a Google local service ad. Maybe they click on one of our Google ads and they start that journey of consideration of using us to solve the problem that they have. Then you move into the purchase and decision phase, then into the delivery and fulfillment of your services, and then into the loyalty phase. I think a lot of people don't think about marketing in this way. They think about marketing as, this expense and this, what they have to do. But really at its core, what marketing is buying new customers.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Do we have a chat here? I love to talk.
Yeah.
I love people to interact in the chat and things like that. Put a 1 in the chat if you love referrals. If you love referrals, put a 1 in the chat. All right. So how do you get referrals and why do people refer you? Well, you've created a good experience for them, right? They may be a customer of yours already. They may have experienced some level of trust with you through some other avenues, but they refer you because they trust you. They know that you're going to deliver on your promises. And so when we do marketing in this awareness stage, what we're doing in this awareness stage is essentially through this whole journey is we're buying future referrals. I want everyone to think about that. So from, when you're using your software, this is where our mindset needs to be. And when we're building out our workflows and our email communication and text communication and phone calls and AI and voice AI and social media posts and all of the different functionality that we have in our software, what we can, if we bring it back to this customer journey, these 5 customer stages, where are we in the journey? What are we trying to accomplish? How can we best create a customer experience at this point of the journey? Put a 2 in the chat if you understand kind of where I'm going with that, if that makes sense to you. That's awesome. So in each of these phases of the journey, we have different things that we can look at. There is an exercise that you can do, and it's called a customer journey map exercise. And you could Google it. You could probably just chat with ChatGPT now and create your own customer journey map. But you can see it's broken down into the stages, right? Awareness, interest and consideration, purchase and decision, delivery, and loyalty. But we have five things in each of those stages. So we're thinking about what our customers are doing in that stage, what they're thinking, the touch points that we have available to us in that stage, the pain points that they are feeling in that stage, pain or frustration, and then the opportunities that provides us to create that world-class customer experience. So for the awareness stage, from a traditional marketing perspective, maybe we have some billboards up, right? Who has the sign company on here? I don't know if you do billboards, but right, people, or, you do a sign for a company that's right on the highway. And you're like, man, you got to put a big sign up, right? And make sure it has your phone number on it. And, because someone's going to drive by there every day. That's what they're doing, right? So we have to be considerate of what they're doing when they're becoming aware of us. Now we need to know what they're thinking. That person driving down the freeway, are they thinking about your business? Yeah, no? What do you think, Oren?
Possibly. I mean, half the time they're probably not even notice it until
half the time they don't even notice it, right?
Yeah.
But the day that the frost storm hits in Florida and the pipe breaks, and they're driving down the road that day and they see the billboard for your plumbing company, they're thinking, oh man, I have a problem that needs to be solved. So most of the time in that situation, they're not thinking anything, right? They're just driving by. But so if you look at really successful billboard campaigns, they're very specific, right? They're really simple. Maybe they have some comical aspect to it. There's a lot of fun, people have a lot of stuff. There's a guy here in Minneapolis, his name is Chris Lindahl. He's a realtor. He has hundreds of billboards all over the city. Not everyone driving down these freeways is thinking about selling their home, but he's standing there with his arms stretched out saying, guaranteed offer on your home, right? And that's all it says. But it's this mental thing that's happening. So they're just driving down the road. They're thinking about work. They're thinking about picking their kid up from sports, whatever there is, right? So there's not many, in that scenario, the touch point is the billboard, right? Mm-hmm. The pain is only there when they're experiencing pain, but the opportunity is to be in front of them. Now we go a different angle. Now we go to Google search, right? Much different experience. What are they doing? Well, they're typing on the keyboard or phone, maybe talking into it. What are they thinking? Well, maybe they're thinking about, remodeling their home, and they're, what's the best colors for this or that, or right? Like, so they start to develop these things. What are the touch points there? Well, it's your website, it's your blog articles, it could be YouTube videos, it could be all of these things could be touch points in that regard. Then you start thinking about the pain that they're having, right? Well, what is some pains in the awareness stage? Marcus Sheridan talks about this really well in the book, They Ask You Answer. Pains in this place, they're thinking about price, right? What is the cost of this? What is that? And then the opportunity for you is maybe you're giving price, right? So you can create a good customer experience in that awareness phase by giving a price or a range of prices or explaining what goes into the cost of your services. When we move into the interest and consideration stage, what are they doing there? Maybe they're filling out a form on your website. So are you using forms or surveys? Right now, when we're moving into the tools that we have available to us, what kind of experience are we creating? Zillow made what we call the long form popular. So Zillow Mortgage was actually the first. Zillow Mortgage Rates was the first place that that really went big with the quiz style form, right? The survey, which is available to you in OPM Tools. Like, what journey do we want to bring people down in that interest and consideration stage? Do we want to extremely qualify the lead, or do we want to just get them to fill out the form, right? Do we want to just put in, hey, give us your email address and you're off and running? Or do we want to ask them a bunch of questions that might slow that process down? What kind of experience can we create just through the tools that we have available to us, right? So thinking, as you're thinking, oh, well, how are people interacting with this? Maybe it's a Google Ads landing page. Well, would you rather have a form that they can just fill out a couple of fields, hit submit and go? Or do you want to have a quiz style, maybe a quiz style survey? How old is your home? What's what roofing materials are on your home currently? Is that what, you can start to develop this experience through the tools that we're using. We want to know what they're thinking. In the interest and consideration stage, a lot of times the stats have shown, there's been some research on this, that about 70% of the people, or it's how do they put it? They've made about 70% of the buying decision to yes when they reach out to people nowadays, right? They've seen you around, maybe they've seen your marketing, they've gotten some emails from you, they've been on your list, there's all kinds of things happening. They've developed a level of trust to about 70%. But they just need that little confirmation, right? So maybe it's that the touch point is a phone call, right? Now in your phone calls, right, making sure that your calls are recorded and that whoever's answering the phone is getting, you're able to coach them up on those phone calls that they're making. Maybe you build in an automation that takes the call transcript and runs it through ChatGPT in one of your automations that scores the call and kicks that score back to you. Some way to continuously improve that experience in those touch points, right? The opportunities here are really that it's giving the customer what they want at that point in time, right? And so, or if you're out, if you're calling that plumber because your pipes froze, what your pain is the frozen pipes and you need to get this fixed right now. What opportunity would I have as the plumber, for you as a consumer? What would be a great experience for you?
That they're able to get to me ASAP.
Get to you ASAP, right? Hey,
we'll be able to answer the phone.
Oh, answer the phone too. Yes, that's probably the first one.
Right? So now we can talk about other tools, right? Of automated chat messages, AI chat, voice chat. So these are all of the tools that you have available in OPM Tools, and to really create that and enhance that experience for someone, right? But yeah, they answer the phone. Now they answer the phone. You get a quick response. You want to get them scheduled on your calendar quickly. Maybe then that kicks off a workflow that sends them a video about the plumbing company and why people trust them. And here's some experiences from other customers that will help you to understand that we do a good job and we'll be around to, So now this is how we're building that customer journey map. The customer journey map and the customer experience. This is why I obsess about it so much, is because then the tool is the fulfillment of that, right? We're using the software for a very specific purpose, and the power in your software increases exponentially when you do this, right? The power increases exponentially. Now we move into the purchase and decision phase, right? So in our pressure washing company, I built a full customer journey between voice AI, chat AI on that interest and consideration stage. So we run our marketing on the interest and consideration stage. We have chat AI and voice AI as they come in. That chat AI and voice AI can book an appointment, quote pricing, and send an invoice. All right there, right? It's just the software to create the best experience possible. And then they get kicked off into workflows of what we're going to be doing at their home and what products we use and why we use them and what's best and what's not best. And now by the time we get to their home, they're even more comfortable with us, right? They're even more willing to write the check. On the purchase and delivery phase of the roofing company, we are sending them to YouTube playlists of different conversations that we're having about why we use the materials that we use, why choose this underlayment versus that underlayment, and why you would want it in your house and not want it on your house. What would be the specific scenarios? So we're again building trust in that purchase and decision phase.
Or what to expect as well.
What to expect, all of the things any question that someone might answer. This is the thing that I love to do the most is in the interest and consideration phase. I like to say, if your customers are wondering, you're losing. So in the chat, if your customers are wondering, you are, type it in the chat, right? If your customers are wondering, you are losing. So in each of these phases, how can you use the technology that you have and the process that you can create, the customer experience that you create to never lose? The communication piece of the software of OPM is like, how can you like, if they are thinking about something and you didn't send them a text message, a email or something, like, you messed up. You just didn't add that step into the workflow. It's not, so, but understanding it from the strategic aspect of that customer journey and the customer experience, and thinking through that lens when we're building out the tools, when we're building out our automations, when we're building things out, when we're building out our landing pages, when we're building these things out, that's what I'm hoping to achieve, help you guys look through that lens with. Okay, so then in the fulfillment and delivery of your services, again, answering all the questions. Hey, for us, like on the roofing side, text messages, emails, voicemail drops, things like that go out prior to, like, hey, your materials were ordered. They're expected for delivery on, right? Those are all custom fields that we could drop in, right? Pull those things in, drop them into emails, drop them into text messages. What to expect on the day of your build. If you're working from home and have to work on Zoom, you're going to have a rough day.
I did 4 roofs last year. Yes, you do.
You do. You are not like, this isn't right. So answering those questions up front, setting proper expectations. Now you move into the loyalty phase. The loyalty phase becomes easy.
Mm-hmm.
You have purchased a customer through your Google ads, through your billboard, through whatever marketing channel you have over here, and you're spitting out referrals on the other side over here. Yeah. That's the game that we want to play, right? That's the fun game. So you have customer acquisition cost, you have long-term value of a customer, and you're just playing that and enhancing that through the customer experience. So I know we're probably, where are we, about halfway now? What questions does this bring up for you guys?
I've got a question. Oh, Mustafa, he's following instructions. He raises his hand. I just blurted it out. Next question. Go ahead, Mustafa.
All right. So you mentioned that you've worked in a lot of industries, worked with a lot of business people and all that. What do you think is the biggest either misconception or some major thing that people do not focus on or mess up on for each stage on the customer journey map?
Yeah, I think they don't put in enough time into this thinking stage here. I don't think that we as business owners, because on our side or from the business owner perspective, they do this every day. And it becomes so second nature to them, right? I have a lake home in northern Minnesota, and we had a new well installed. Okay. And so I got a bid for that well, and it said it was going to be X amount or between X and Y, right? Depending on how deep they had to drill the well. And then there was this little fine print at the bottom that was like plus excavation and connection fees, right? Well, I looked at the number in that number range for the drilling, and I was like, all right, that sounds fair. I don't like writing that check, but that sounds fair. Let's go ahead and do it. And then we got to the end, and then the well got drilled, and then they came out and they trenched the line to the house, and they hooked it all to the house, and all of a sudden this new invoice showed up in my inbox. Like, where did this come from? I already paid within that range of right? So again, I was wondering, where the heck is this? Why the heck is this bill here? So in that experience, right? In the interest and consideration phase, if they had provided me with maybe some videos about the process, even texts and maybe more of an email. This would probably be better in an email, I think, right? But emails explaining, like, look, each part of our bid, right? There's 3 phases to installing your well. First, there's the drilling of the well. Second, there's the running of the connection to your home, and third, there's the connection of that connection to your actual water. Right? There's 3 parts. There's the interior of the home, from the home to the well, and then the digging of the well. And here's what happens in each. And here's what you can expect for, and each of these have variances in cost based on X, Y, and Z. And so if they had answered those questions for me, if they got into my head and said, man, what do people ask me? Every time we go through this process, the owners and salespeople, anyone who's in the sales side, the customer experience side, the customer facing roles in any company, they hold the keys to unlock the treasure because they get asked questions all the time. Right? They get asked questions. Jeff said he did 4 roofs. Like, well, what questions came up for you when you were doing those roofs? I would assume some of them were insurance, Florida hurricane, something like that.
Well, the funny thing is that I was told, go with the, don't buy like junk, but I go with middle of the road to lower end product, because in Florida, it doesn't matter if it says 30 or 40-year roof and all this other stuff. And I even got quotes from my insurance company. Yeah. They're going to make you replace it in 8 to 10 years anyways. Yeah. And the insurance rate to go high end and all the high end underlayment made no difference. It was a roof to them.
Now where can we place that message that invokes a lot of trust, right? Like a good video about that, right, Mustafa? Like in the interest and consideration stage, maybe, right? But also in the purchase and decision phase, that would be a good place to think about. So what I see the most is that we don't think about what our customers' issues are, questions are, and problems are. And that's where, like, and again, like, I love Gemini, ChatGPT, Grok. You could stick this into all of them and say, here's my customer journey. Let's create the customer journey. And like, what are people thinking at each of these stages? And just like, let's create the most extensive list of questions that we can have answered prior to them asking. Because if you answer the question prior to them asking, you are held at a high regard. You are the expert.
Well, the follow-up for that question, sorry, Mr. Jeff, I'm pretty sure you had a question. The follow-up to that would be that many business owners, they have this problem, I feel, because I faced a lot of business owners. What they say is, how do we know that what we have prepared is ready to go versus should we chase perfectionism? Because you don't know when you got it all. So how do you differentiate between that or draw the line?
One of my favorite books on this is called The Lean Startup. It's more of a software development process, but it's minimum viable product, right? So this is, can you build out 1,000 automations all at once?
No.
It just doesn't make sense, right? So we start with what we refer to as the minimum viable product. We get feedback on that. So let's build out a sequence in your purchases, like for you, for your customers. Hey, let me help you build out a sequence in this purchase and decision phase, because that's going to be really important. Or I would move it back into interest and consideration. That's where I want to spend a lot of time, because if you can, there's a lot of money in increasing the conversion rate just by a little bit on their appointment set and their sales process. Like, there's a lot of money there, and it's a quick win that they can see. So in the interest and consideration phase is where I would really focus in some effort, but it's okay, let's send out these 3 emails prior to your appointment with them. And then let's build off of that, right? Like, and then we just continue to build and build and build and build. And minimum viable product is something that I preach extensively in all of the businesses that I work on. It lets us go fast, but in a way that we're listening for feedback. Because even if you build out what you feel is the perfect flow for this, it's not going to be perfect, because there's going to be variance along the way, right? Like, there are so many things that you hadn't thought of. And again, because you're in it every day, these business owners are in their business every day. They overlook so many things. So for you, Mustafa, if you come back and you say, hey, to start this off, we're going to create a customer journey map. what kind of value for you, right? If they're considering working for you or in the purchase phase with you, what kind of value does that create in their eyes for you, right? Now, whoa, wait, people didn't ask it. Hey, I'm going to ask you a few questions today that probably no one has ever asked you. Is that fair? Can you go along with that ride for me? Right? Like some of them you may not know the answer to. Some of them are going to be challenging, but I just want you to push through it. When we get to the end of this, building out this customer journey map, you're going to have an extensive overview of your customer experience, and we're going to be able to now build the software to enhance and to enhance that customer experience.
That makes sense. So it's a continuous optimization.
Continuous optimization. Everything is another thing I'd like to say, like SOPs for people's companies. They're not SOPs, they're living documents, right? An SOP is a living document. Things change all the time. So we're just continuous, but we have to have an iteration loop. We have to be able to listen. Now we can go back and look at, hey, these are the 6 emails that we sent between our interest and consideration and into the purchase and decision phase. What's the open rate on those, right? What's the click-through rate on those? How many people watch the video? Because now when I'm at the home, I could say, hey, did you watch that video? We have one video that we require people to watch in our roofing company before we will do complete the sales appointment. If you have to watch this video, you have to watch this video with me. And the reason we do that is because we have very important information in there, but we track the click-through rate on that video, and we tag that customer saying they watched the video or they have not watched the video. So when our salesperson comes on, they have context. Oh, you watched the video. That's awesome. What questions might you have about our process? Oh, none. That sounds great. I love the way that you explain this versus that. And so they have to be measurable iterations.
I like that. Make a note right now. Make them watch the video for any niche. It could do a community. You have the courses in there. They must watch it. So in other words, they can't come back to you and say, "Hey, this didn't work." It's like,
that's right.
This is what we're going to do. Oh, hey, Mustafa, can I ask my question now?
Absolutely.
Hey, this is just a simple one, but it popped into my mind when you were talking about having your AI agents and your chat agents book the appointment. When you're that's easy, for us as digital marketers, and you're doing it on Zoom or Meet. But when you're talking home services and you're covering a 2 or 3 county area or something like that, how have you approached that for your clients?
So it's built out in the knowledge base of the agent. So the service area is well defined in the knowledge base. Depending on I use different voice AI systems. I build in the native AI voice AI system, but I also build in a software called Retail AI for our more complex build, and then we integrate into the system. A lot of times we'll pull in with dynamic variables, service area, cities, counties, things like that. In other cases, but we definitely want to have that as a check. When you're booking the appointment, hey, let me check this address, make sure that it's within our service area. I've built it out as function calls to N8N, where it goes to an N8N workflow and then comes back and has an answer of if that address is within that service area. So you can build it out a few different ways.
Right. I was thinking to John, I mean, obviously if we set that up for him, we can't have him going to one county and then a half hour later, he's got another appointment to bid a job, 50 miles away in the middle of day traffic or something.
So here's the framework we use for that is it's called we refer to it as the cable guy method. So I set up my calendars and my agents to book on calendars in windows.
Yep, that's what I was thinking.
Right. So we have are you available at morning or afternoon? Is morning or afternoon better for you, Jeff?
Morning.
All right, morning. What day of week works best for you?
Wednesday.
Great. Wednesday morning, I got you booked in for Wednesday morning. What's going to happen next is our team is going to call you and tell you exactly, what's his name on here? I was trying to look for his name.
John.
Was it John? Yeah, John's going to give you a call and at the day before and tell you more of an idea of exactly when he's going to be there, right?
Gotcha.
What happens if John can't be there on Wednesday morning?
Well, isn't that how cable works? 8 to 12, and then they call you at 11:30. It'll be.
But try to call him a little bit before, right? But so set your calendar buffer for like if you're doing cable guy method, set it out 24, 48 hours so someone has a chance to respond.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But what we're doing there is we're making them feel like their problem has been solved. When is your problem solved? If your pipes froze right now and you got to call that plumber, when would you feel that your problem was solved? When the appointment was booked and you knew someone was on the way, or when the job was completed?
Well, you'd feel some comfort at least knowing you have a booked appointment.
To me, I'm going to feel a lot of comfort. Like I'm going to feel like, all right, I got someone to come out and fix this for me.
I don't have to make more calls. I don't have to worry about this anymore.
So what's going to happen is you're going to stop calling when you have an appointment. That's what we're trying. That's what we're eliminating. We're eliminating the next phone call. If I say, Jeff, hey, Jeff, I'm going to have John call you back. He'll call you back by tomorrow, maybe Wednesday, maybe Thursday. He's going to call you back in a few days to tell you when he might be able to be available, possibly to come out and potentially see your problem.
I'm calling the next guy on my Google search or my Perplexity search.
That's what I'm talking about. You're just, and so booking cable guy method and then allowing a dispatch process. And again, that dispatch process can be optimized also, right? Because now it's another opportunity for a touch point. It's another opportunity to create a good experience. For now, John calls and, man, I'm so excited to be able to come out and help you out, right? Like, tell me a little bit more about the problem. I know you told our office, but let me understand it. All right, man, that's great. And here, I'm going to send you a video about me and my, things that I do, right? And now you can build on that customer experience.
Very good. Very, very good. That was my question. And I just love the idea of sending a video instead of just doing an auto response. Have a video as the auto response. That's
okay. Here's a hack that we do. We set up YouTube playlists. So the video that we want to go out is the top of the YouTube playlist. But then we have additional videos in that playlist that may add value to that specific buyer avatar, right? And so if it's someone calling about a roof repair, there's going to be additional videos about the roof repair process and right? They're going to watch that first one. But what's going to happen when it's in a YouTube playlist is it just drops to the next one. Mm-hmm. And it drops to the next one, and it drops to the next one. And sometimes, not all the time, not a lot of the time, but a portion of those people will watch all of those videos. Mm-hmm. Let's say they watch 5-10 videos.
I love that.
Right? Like what do you think happens to the close rate?
They feel like they know you. They know you well by then.
Right. And that's where the magic happens, right? So the tools, the tools that we have available to us is fantastic. But if you're not thinking about it from a customer experience, where they are in the phases of their customer journey, you're missing out on they're missing money. They're just completely, there's a gap in their in the opportunity of a financial gain that they could be having at that time.
I love that idea. That's a great idea. The playlist.
The playlist, yeah.
I got that written down. Warren, you got that one written down? That's a great one.
We got to record it here. Don't worry, Jim. We got to record it. If you're looking in your software at the tools that you have available and you're like, where does this fit in to this? We could work it backwards. Like you tell me, hey, where's my social media posting tool, my reputation management posting tool, or we just have to take the tool and fit it into the journey, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay. I have a question. Now, within OPM Tools and many other softwares as well, we have the voice AI, which you've already mentioned, and within voice AI, we have inbound and outbound available as well. Now, there is this controversial question, as many business owners believe that their customers will not be too comfortable with the voice AI, whereas some have an opposite view. Where do you stand with that? Because my understanding is if you let your clients know beforehand that the next call will be handled by our voice AI agent for a more seamless journey and everything, it might bring more comfort and easiness for that client when he hears a robotic voice.
Yeah. So I've had thousands of calls come through my voice AI now. And I know for a fact that people do not like voice AI. They don't. It's still, there are still issues with it, right?
Mhm.
The voices are hit or miss. Like sometimes I'm like, I have recorded calls where it blows me away. I've had people talk and have a conversation and thinking that they were talking to their best friend from childhood. And I'm like, what is going on here? It's those Florida people, all those, that's where it happens most of the time.
Florida man.
Florida man, right? He's like, oh my goodness, Amy, you're amazing. And so, but then you have people that they hit it and they get that awkward pause in the conversation and they're out, right? So here's it from the perspective of me as a business owner. I'll put my business owner hat on. I would rather have something happen than nothing happen. That's number one. Chat AI is less detectable than voice AI.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to send that net promoter score, can you send it through chat AI? Right? If that business owner is thinking, I don't want that voice going outbound, send it through chat AI, right?
Yeah.
The experience is much different. We don't, if there's an awkward pause on a chat, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
We don't expect
It
it.
actually sounds normal.
It sounds more normal. It's like, oh, because we're texting and then we set our phone down and we go on, move on, right? So it's it's so. And it was a lesson that I had. It was an expensive lesson. I've spent a lot of money on voice AI this year. Like in 2025, I've spent nearly $100,000 on the development of voice AI in 2025 for my companies. And because I feel like it's the way that things are going, right? And I wanted to be, I will be and am on the front lines of it. But in the development of this voice AI, in all of the voice AI, and on many different platforms, like all different, I've tried all the platforms, all the everything. There's a couple of things. Limitation number one that creates frustration. Actually, let me back up a second. In my journey of implementing voice AI, my initial thesis was, if this can be human-like, if this can sound human-like, people will use it, right? Makes sense, right? If this can sound human-like, people will use it. About 3 months into my journey, working with my development team and really building this out, I thought, you know what, I'm incorrect in my thesis. I don't think people care that it sounds human. They want it to be helpful and they don't want it to be frustrating. So once they hit any frustration in the process, that's where they're dropping off. So then the technology that's available today, there's a couple of things that create that frustration. Latency and turn recognition. Two things. Latency, you speak in voice, that voice gets translated into text, the text gets sent to the LLM sends text back, and then the voice reads it. That creates latency. Right? And that latency is what is an issue in a lot of cases. That creates frustration because it's not natural to our speaking. The second thing that's not natural and which plays off of it, but is not the same thing, is turn recognition. There are some really cool VC money backed companies out there working on these problems, but they just haven't gotten to us yet. Right? So for anyone using AI voice, I would say try to implement chat first, because until that turn recognition gets fixed, because when you say, yeah, I want to book an appointment, and it's like, interrupting you, and then you're interrupting it, and it only creates frustration. And so again, thinking about that customer experience, is that the best customer experience? No, it's not.
So for your clients, do you deploy both? Like the AI, the voice AI answers the phone, but they still get the text back immediately? Whether
We do both.
as a
So if you come in, if you call us in overflow and after hours, it will go to my voice AI, because it's better than not picking up the phone.
Absolutely.
Right. Again, we're talking about customer experience. So if I'm optimizing the customer experience, I can say that this might not be a 10 out of 10, but even if it's a 5 out of 10, it's better than a 0 out of 10. Now, if they're filling out a form, we're sending out, we're using conversation AI. Yeah.
Yes, that just gave me an idea. I mean, I haven't used this, but I think we can play with that. If there is this, because now within the system we have call transcription, we can use AI transcription to summarize the transcription and check if the call was abruptly ended by the customer. If it was, we can have an email sent out. Hey, I'm sorry that AI was had to take your call. We were busy at that moment. Can we restart the conversation, or can we pick it up from where you left off?
That's right. Yeah, that's a great thought. Like, let's pick it up, or, send the text message. Here's the thing with conversation AI, with text AI, ask questions that require an answer. So specific, personal, expecting a response. Spear emails or spear texts, spear conversations. In the initial thing, I'm asking a very specific question, because I want to just get them to text something back. I just want them to engage in the conversation.
As I said earlier, continuous optimization.
Continuous optimization, man. I'm telling you, it will never end. It will never end, and it's so fun because it's amazing what. And one of the other things that I say is that, like, so in business, phase 1, do something. Phase 2, do something better than that. Phase 3, do something better than that. Phase 4, do something better than that. A year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, you look back at your journey, and if you've done it well, if you've iterated well, you can look back at the beginning of your journey and go, why did people buy from me?
Yeah.
That's when you're really executing on that iteration, right? If you look back 3 years and you go, man, I'm right in the same place, we're doing all right. No, you're not. It's not the truth. Like, that, you want to look back in this. If you're truly iterating and continuously improving, it should be unrecognizable. You should be disgusted with that first campaign that you put together.
Yes, for sure. The funny thing I love about your customer journey map is I could literally think of something that you could do inside of OPM Tools, Go High Level, and other CRMs very similar, all the way from awareness to the loyalty. It's like you literally could fill this up.
And that's what I was that's when I saw Jeff, that, when we had this conversation about doing this, he was talking to me about more of the technical things that we do on a day-to-day basis. And I thought this might be more impactful, right? That this might be more helpful to your community in thinking about it this way, because, there are help docs for how to use the tools. This gives you a framework to develop a strategy to use those tools. So
very much so.
I have one more question. Sorry, my mind is working now. How do you prevent business owners from jumping on the shiny object syndrome? Like every new thing that they see and they just want to have it. They saw it on the internet. Someone was talking about it, and now they want to just freeze their existing strategy, and they just want to, go for that.
Yeah, from a business strategy perspective, I coach agencies, I coach roofing companies, I coach a lot of businesses also, and that shiny object syndrome is a problem. I use what's I help them develop what we refer to in software development as a t-shirt analysis, if anyone's heard of that. So you're sizing the problem, right? Is it small, medium, large, extra large?
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is we take 2 columns. The first column is value. So you write down all of those shiny objects that you have, or ideas or things like that. You write them all down, make a list. And then on a score of 1 to 5, you write down the value that it will create to your customer, right? Value it will create to your customer, 1 to 5, 5 being the highest value to your customer. Then we move on to column 2. Column 2 is lift, or what it will take to actually implement and execute this. And we score that the opposite. 5 is the easiest lift. 1 is the most challenging lift. So when you have that built out, you can say, man, it looks cool, but it's going to take a lot of implementation, or we're going to have to break this whole thing over here to build that thing over there. So I think it gives people a good frame to look through and settle them down on the shiny object stuff, right? And I do this in my businesses all the time. I do this with my to-do list. Like I like on, not every day, but like I'll sit down when I'm getting overwhelmed with my to-do list, I'll do this, I'll run this on my to-do list. Value that it creates in my day or to my businesses, and the lift that it takes, and then you start knocking the things out, man. And that, helping them understand that and how to help make good business decisions creates more value, in them to you, from you, right? Like it creates goodwill also. So there is a line.
And they made the decision themselves.
They've made the decision themselves. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they make a decision you wouldn't make. And you know what I tell them? Yeah, you get to make it. It's your business.
Yeah.
These are business decisions. Some work out, some don't, right?
Mm-hmm.
Make your decision.
Well, Jim, thank you so much for hopping on this call with us. We really appreciate it. You definitely gave a lot of great insight on how we can run your business through the software, and just how to run your business overall too. So I really do appreciate your time, your effort, and you're just helping us with this situation. So thank you so much.
No problem.